This is yeah, or a 1K thing that I painted up from. It's from the dollar store. Painted it up to look like it was metal. Use it in the background. Anyway, it's kind of cheap people we are on the set here. Others will be arriving shortly. Yep. Yeah. So this is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster, and welcome to the 1K 1000th episode of the movie reviews channel Weird Kitty 07. 1000 episodes. Last 8 months, we've done 100 videos. So, yeah, we were 900 back then. At the end of the first wave, second wave of the pandemic, and now it's the third wave of the pandemic. And so, do I have to have social distancing to an extent? I think it's lightening up a little bit, so people can go out and stuff with masks. But that's what they do. But on the set here, this is the Chimera set. Of the set of the Star Trek movie. Yeah, here they are, his little figures. Star Trek thing on the other channel, just to be meta and have the cast from the other channel show up. So why not? Of course, social distancing. But yeah, as you know, the cast from the other channel is just me in different disguises. So anyway, Mark's cards is not available. Apparently, someone else at his work tested positive for the COVID, so he will not be showing up tomorrow to usher in the 1000th episode. But we will certainly, when he does come back, we'll have him mention it in the 1000th episode. Certainly, we'll be celebrating the Holy Spirit. There may also be in next March, about a month from now. There's a toy show, the Toy Fairgrounds, so it's possible we may attend that. It's going to be at not the fairgrounds this time. It's going to be in Santa Clara, at the Santa Clara Convention Center, which was the Baycon place. It would be an excellent place to do a special story from there, because that's one of the places where we started out. It'd be really cool to go to the convention center again and see that again, even just to see it again. Very cool. So yeah, that's neat. Not sure though. They might cancel it. They might say, "Oh no, it's another wave, so we can't do it." And then yeah, that might not happen. So we'll see. What's up with that? So this being the 1000th episode, Mark's Cards suggested that we watch a really bad movie and then review it. We already did. We saw a really bad movie. Well, I saw the Moonfall movie, but I can't really remember what the last movie we reviewed on here it was. I guess yeah, going over the 998th and 999th stories, the Carta and trans commentary from when I was a teenager has melted all brain cells, making it impossible to remember what that previous video was. Yeah, so this is a preliminary sort of, yeah, this is 1000th video special. It's preliminary, and yeah, we decided to break from the convention of doing an episode of Star Trek parody here on the set. This was a Sword Fakery was the name of the episode, so it's kind of a weird crossover with our other channel. Yeah, we finished the teaser last night, and now we're going to discuss this one. Probably not doing any Chimera filming tonight. Just because, yeah, it's already getting a little late. It's not too late, but it's a little late. Yeah, so something that the other one didn't get into was some of the other, yeah, the other video didn't get into some of the other stuff that transpired set. The various characters coming and going and so forth. We weren't going to dedicate the two Star Trek episodes to yet another person that passed away, probably not from COVID. And this one's probably not dedicated to the other person either, just because why, he's never watched the channel. So Garner was a pastor of the church long ago. Anyway, so yeah, so there's no point in doing he wasn't part of the series in any way. Yeah. And I was just watching the bait and switch thing that John Capina show was doing on YouTube, and he was another person, a YouTube celebrity, where he's all like, "Oh, I totally have this information. I totally have," and I consulted my guys, and they said not to tell anybody. And yeah, that's very typical of YouTube to do that when you actually don't know anything about what's going on. About I guess it was Multitude of Madness. They were going over Multiverse of Madness, and he had some information. Of course, it's not information anyone else has already seen. I'm not going to spoil anything, so I'm not going to. See, unlike him, I'm going to go on there and say, "Oh, it's really awesome," but I can't tell you. I'm just not going to tell you. Anyway, here is one of the other cast to go on. Yeah, I remember. We just had this chair over here, over there, whatever. Clint, Cowpoke. Yeah. I was not in the Moon movie. Yeah. So, props. Yep. Barely see myself, but I'm sure I'm in frame and in focus. But yeah, I'm directing a Star Trek Chimera, Starship Locations episode. Yeah, the from the Fallen Ones book series, and I got to do a full movie one, and now I'm doing another one. Two. Silly Kelly gets to do the last two, just like we did with the Transformers, all Transformers MUSH. Yeah, I was born with the Transformers. It's interesting that Cowpoke is not actually in the Trans original story, or in the Carta one, but he is in Carta 2, and he is in Trans Tech 2. He is Trans Tech as well, yeah. And yeah, so that's fun. It was in Trans 2, yeah, it was in there. Because you can kind of tell Optimus Prime's voice suddenly sounds like Optimus Prime. I am Optimus Prime, leader of the Autobots. Yes, I didn't sound like that in the other version, because I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, so. Ooh. And I could totally go on about stuff that's planned and whatever, And there's literally, there is not much else after the Star Trek thing. There could be very quickly, though, Kal Kat being extremely prolific, could come up with something, and we would film it. And there's still plans for the other channel to have a review type of thing, or a sequel to the Starcracker, but we have not figured out the logistics of that either. But this set is done up like the engine room again. Gee, I wonder why. Here's the engines. Engines. Activate the engines. Activate the inverter pulsator engine grid thing. Well, it's stuck in the closet again. Yeah, so Starcracker. Yeah, so we did all Transformers MUSH. I'd like to see another one. I wouldn't mind writing another one. That'd be awesome. As long as we get a scene where Optimus Prime and Draconus Prime are in the same shot together. Which would be really hard to shoot because of the same guy. But yeah, you could just do like we're doing here. Just walking together in the same shot. Actually arguing with each other. That'd be funny. That's all I got so far. You can't call it Shadow Legacy because that's Shadow Rage, Shadow Legacy. You can't call it that. Yeah, that exists already. Shadow Legend, Shadow Legacy. Call it something else. Somebody else did that. Yeah, but Transformers Legacy and Transformers, what is the new one? Botverse or something? There's a Cyberverse as well. Yeah, it was Carta. Yeah, we've never done an update of Carta. Yeah, looking back on that, it's like, did we ever really kind of do that? Well, part of what happened there is that the technology never got to the level where we could actually use the cardboard robots themselves in something. In Trans 2, we just used other Transformers and knockoffs and stuff to be in And that's kind of what we stayed with. We had some cargo reappear, but we haven't built new ones in any time recently. The most newest models we have is that shuttlecraft and the 2 Star Trek models, the Star Trek thing. We did build those brand new. That took like 2 months to build those 2, I think, in the shuttle. We added the shuttle because there was pieces left over. We just built the shuttle too. Yeah, we had other pieces left over, and we built a bioship. And that's over there on the wall there. Bioship. An actual physical model of the bioship. That's pretty awesome. We'll review that stuff later, I suppose. But not right now. Yeah, there's going to be an SDF. We're going to have to build a new SDF ship too. Because you got to have that. Got to have one of those. Yeah, but that's later. Yeah, there's not a lot of funding going on currently. You see. Probably wonder how the Kal Kat show channels continue to operate. They pretty much, yeah, it's you know, yeah. After the defunking of the Transcar eBay store back in the 2000s, we haven't actually had an eBay store since then. And yeah, so we don't have any revenue really, just personal collection stuff. At the toy shows, usually it's no, we don't have a store anymore. It's a personal collection. That's what you see. It's a personal collection. Have a table and sell your personal collection, and we haven't done that. We bought more than we sell. So, so yeah. So Spawn. Yeah. So Transformers. Yeah, there's a lot of fan stuff that's similar. It's when you watch that old Trans footage, it's like we people online do this all the time. Next Generation does this all the time. There's like really cool stop motion things with no sets in the background. It's just like boxes. That's exactly what we did. That's what we did back then, but without stop motion. It was just them talking. Yeah. Hide the hands. I didn't hide the hands much. A Trans Tech was an attempt to not hide the hands. Go out and do. Make that, to take the trans stories and update them for the 21st century. Make a 21st century version of it. 13 years. It was 2001 to 2009. It was 9 years. 8.5 years. Chimera was 13. And although the MUSH was way shorter. The MUSH, because we were stuck indoors and there was nothing to do, why not do the whole Transformers MUSH we had done, and we did season 1, and then it was really awesome having to do that. I don't think Kelly was kind of playing the it was way different then, because 90 to 92 was this glut of Transformer stuff. You just couldn't find it here. In Japan, they were still continuing over there, but we didn't know about that stuff. We didn't know about the Master Force and all that stuff until much later, like 10 years later. There's this other thing out there. Yeah, it was like there was conventions, maybe 5-6 years later. Conventions had that stuff. But yeah, they eventually released, Shout Factory released them all. So, and to this day, even though it's been like 2 years since the last mention of all those, we have not gotten through the third one. Even right now, it's really, really strange and bad in parts. The third one is just really hard to sit through. The Japanese version, the Beyond Master Zone is just odd. Master Force and Zone, just odd. But yeah, the Headmasters and the other one were better. The Headmasters was also Pretenders. That was probably the better of the three. Diminishing returns. But yeah, that trans thing. Just put it up there with the commentary finally. Yay, just the commentary. So you get the whole thing, the commentary on the video. Yeah, I had trouble finding Planet Pond. We had to get this version. It was all gone off all the drives. I want to make sure there's copies of this stuff out there so you can see it. We had commentary from some people during it that were okay with it. one person, the only person that objected to the all Transformers MUSH, and we mentioned it at the time, was that one of the characters had been kicked off of the boards, and they didn't want to see his name in print. That's what they objected to. Well, yeah, that's not him though. It was just some hater that didn't like him for whatever reason. So, well, we used the story. Okay, yeah. I mean, technically, yeah, the guy was, not friendly. This other guy. I'm not going to name his name. This other guy. Then, that was later. I mean, it wasn't during when he did the story. But yeah, so we kept it. We kept his comment. Yeah. Anyway, so the so yeah, so this is more of a weirdo chat, I guess. And yeah, so yeah, it's interesting going back there. Did a bunch of the movies. Did some of the Robotech ones, Space Bridge. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it is fun. So we do that, and yeah, we started doing Transformer stuff for teenagers, yeah. And yeah, and it never died. Transformers went off the air in America for a little while, the 1990s, but Beast Wars didn't come out much long after that, so 96. So that never went away after that. 96, it was just here to stay. I think with the Transformers toys, they just needed to not cheapen stuff. I think if the late 80s, early 90s ones weren't like action battlers and action masters and micro changers and whatever, if they hadn't gone cheaper, they probably would have been all right. If they'd gone more interesting and intricate. And they went too intricate during the Michael Bay movies, between 2007 and 2018. And they had, so some of that was a little too much, too intricate. So yeah, but then the Cyberverse is fairly kiddie-ish, easy to transform guys. They're not, yeah, they're made for younger audience, yeah, so more similar to G1 in their transformations. There's this new line, Kingdom and Siege and Kingdom and all that from the games, which became the Netflix show. Some fans have wondered how involved we were in the Netflix show. Well, not directly. It turns out DeSanto was known, but yeah, we didn't think it was him, but it was. That was kind of embarrassing. But on this other channel, Robin's Primal channel, it was actually him. It was the guy from the Netflix show. Yeah. So, oops. Sorry about that. Because he showed up there. He's like, oh, yeah. Because during the height of the pandemic, everybody had to be inside, and so a lot of Zoom stuff happened. A lot of people got together over Zoom. They even talked to producers and creators and stuff. It was similar to how in the 90s, in the early days of the internet, when you could get together in your stories and on bulletin board services, like the All Transformers MUSH, which made All Transformers MUSH stories out of. Yeah, so it's similar to that, in a sense, because you had more connectivity to the other Transformers fans in the thing. And yeah, so the Netflix show was, it was okay. It was, I treat Transformers universe as a multiverse, so sure, it's fine. There was some stuff that didn't make sense. Scorponok stuck in the time warp and all that, and Galvatron showing up and meeting Megatron, and although that was okay because they did take a page right out of our stuff, and they had a line in there that was right out of our stuff, which was awesome. in which Megatron said, like, Galvatron shows up and says, you must do as I say, and Megatron says, I don't trust you, and Galvatron goes, you shouldn't. Yeah, there you go, because you shouldn't. Yeah. But yes, there's a new one coming out called Rise of the Beasts. They filmed a lot of it so far, but then they went on hiatus. I don't know what they're doing. Yeah. Now, the one that we were indirectly involved with was two of them. Dark of the Moon and Age of Extinction. Yeah. Yeah. The ones with Mark Wahlberg as Mark's cards, basically. Yeah. Yeah. We weren't involved in the Sheila Booth ones. We weren't involved in Bumblebee. That was the other dude from the church who involved in Bumblebee. Yeah, that's why that one was awesome. Should have been there to begin with. It was an awesome one. So, yeah. Yep. So, yeah, I could talk about the trans fan films and the MUSH. Old Transformers MUSH. And there are vestiges of that still around. There are at least two or three well-known websites. There's T-Formers, Cybertron with an S, Cybertron. There is T-Former TF 2005. There's several of those people are still around, so that's cool. Yeah, and they have their own lexicon as a bulletin board. And Rob Powers himself has a website devoted to all of his stuff. And also T.L. Ahrens. That's her name's from the story. From the MUSH. Yep, he's still around. Yeah, he said of that Valentine episode from a full year ago that he commented. He sent a PM. He commented. He said, yeah, that was about a girl. Yeah, it was totally about a girl. Did you end up with her? No. That was about a girl, yeah. Yeah, he didn't end up with her. He wrote other ones, and he said you can read them, but you can't download them. And he's right, his site doesn't let you download them. I guess you could print them and then download them. You could do it that way. But I didn't think of that. But yeah, are they that good? Did it want to? Nah. All the newer ones after that, all Transformers MUSH in the 90s was slasher was its own thing. It was unique. It had its own goings on, and we just didn't want to. After the 90s were over, and it was like the early 2000s and some of the earlier stories. That period seemed to have its passing of the torch to the newer stuff. You couldn't go back and say, okay, I'm just going to use the other stories they wrote. Those other stories, those G1 stories are classic. They essentially decided we're going to do Generation 2, which never officially happened. Well, it unofficially happened. Generation 2 was actually a... Yeah, so we did Generation 2. We were part of that. We were part of the MUSH. And Adam McCon and all that stuff. We were part of the MUSH. And, back in the day, in the 90s, on the bulletin board service. There were in the early days, you had Prodigy and AOL and all the chat rooms and things. You had an early Netscape. You had now it's Firefox, but it used to be called Netscape. And you had like a bulletin board service, and you would just shout ideas back and forth like an actual writing group. It was awesome. Kind of like how we came by the Fallen One story as well. In a way, it's a blog. Star Trek, a blog on ancient aliens that's turned into a Star Trek story. I don't normally do it that way, but it's similar to the other thing, so it's close enough. So, yeah, we made a novel out of it, another novel, unrelated novel out of it. Changed the characters around again in the story in the Star Trek one. But yeah, so yeah, some of the other people commented there over the years. Yeah. There was one of the last, not anymore, but back when it was on, when all Transformers MUSH was on, we had a comment from Powers, who liked it, who said that that's not what I would have had to play Mr. Lexius, but that's fine. It's actually cooler than have him be Draconis Prime. That's cool. We had we had a we had Transitions Lady. Yeah, the Transitions Lady. Yeah, we had another lady commented the Ivy Moline and the other one, Ivy Gibberish now. Ivy Gibberish and and the other one, yeah, I'm blanking on the other one, but they both commented, said they liked it. So yeah, it was like, wow, this is something I wrote when I was a teenager. It's on the other website. That's cool. 45 or 50 now. But yeah, so that was cool. Well, I just recently published. We just recently published on the thing. Celebrate the channel. The commentary track of Carta, the commentary track of Trans. The two stories you'll never see fully in their realized. You get to see the Carta is a commentary. So all the music's stripped out. All the copyrighted music we couldn't use is gone. It's just commentary on what you're seeing on the screen. So it's the audio is stripped out. And it's fine. So yeah. Yeah, you get to see that. Yeah, who's the other girl? I'm blanking on that. Also the guy who was Muth and Jung were the same dude. So he's all, your story's cool, but yeah, this guy, Jung was my stage name, and just Greg Muth, because Muth, this guy said that, he commented, he's like, Muth didn't sound as cool, so Jung sounded better, so I changed it. So it's the same dude. That's why his writing style is very similar in the two stories. It's the same guy. So yeah, that works. But yes, so yeah, we haven't made any new Cartas because they're hard to build. And now with there being a slew of, and access to the slew of online, you can get Transformers that are knockoff versions of them, or replicas, or deformation things and whatever. You can get any kind of Transformer you want that's a slightly KO version, and there's your Carta. You don't need to build them. Somebody somewhere has made them. You can just, if you want to bus one, there's probably a bus one out there. Go and find it. If you want a pterodactyl police car, that's probably a thing somewhere. Get it? Pterodactyl. That'd be cool. Or they need to have a Viking ship that transforms into a lizard. That'd be cool. With an unrealistic horn helmet. Now I'll pass this over to Silly Kelly. He got up, he walked away. What's this? The new Titan. Well, semi-new Titan. Over here. Ooh. I'm not going to open him. But, I'm going to open him. Here we go. Last thing. The show is closing. Yeah. That is the Ark. Autobot Ark. It shows that sucker arrived. Oh, man. To put him in something. Yeah, that was a while back. Sitting here. Also, Kal Kat had learned the secret that the story that the studio series was going to do Dinobots in larger form, and 2 of them have come out so far, Grimlock and Slag, and I have them upstairs. Yay! Yes. Now this is the Trans 2 set, isn't it? Yeah. This is the actual Trans 2 set. That is wild. It's wild. Hi, kitty. Oh, look at the kitty toy for Kitty to play with. Oh my. Hi, kitty. Cadabra. Yeah. This Cadabra. The kitty. She's all like, ow. This cat. Oh. Yeah. So. Yeah, doing Trans. Yeah, the Planetcom is also. Yeah, the 2007 Planetcom drama. We can put that up too, because it turns out it doesn't have any music in it. It's actually the drama, the radio drama, done as an audio thing, and you get to see. I'm gonna put it up, and you get to see that. You get to see an enactment of a script from a long time ago that gets done up as a thing. It's the first sci-fi story of Kal Kat ever, and Adam Brown. And you get to see like when I went back, we read the script. We did during it was between Trans Tech 2 and 3, 2007. 2 and 3. 3 was in pre-production, and we had the set, the SDF-1 set, and we had some of the models built, preliminary early models built for Starship Chimera. And we used the unpainted models in the movie, in the SDF-1. and so you get to see this like SDF-1 set with G.I. Joes. You can see us playing ourselves as space admirals in the far off year 2020. It's actually hilarious. Yeah. So there's another 1K story to look forward to. The original is out there too. We converted it, but I don't think that it is at all watchable. So we're not going to do that one. But it is converted, so it's out there. Yeah, it's just. I suppose I could put it out, but under the auspice that okay, it's not going to make sense. No one's going to want to watch it. But here is the first ever video sci-fi video story ever. Some of the elements of it became Canary Space. Many years later, Distant Cousins, Canary Space. Some of these boxes contain the Distant Destinies and Starcracker sagas from the 90s, and on location. And yeah, so yeah, it's interesting. Looking back on the prolific Kal Kat stuff. Nowadays we do it on video. Nowadays you got to convert everything to MP4 in order to read it. Yeah, the old MPEG versions and flash file versions. Yeah, they will be lost to time if we don't update them. Yeah, so it's interesting. Okay. Anyway. Last Autobot Arc guy really does need guns though, doesn't he? Yeah, guns. Little guns, but they made a Transformer out of Timinus Prime. That's awesome. Yeah. Yay! I heard from Timinus Prime recently. Said he was working again a little bit. Yeah, since he had that foot surgery. So. Yeah, so might get to see Tim in the future. If he's available, we'll do his one cameo, the Starcracker thing. I'm not sure what the Starcracker thing would be about because I also played Carrie in that, and yeah, I'm thinking it would be something of a backdoor spoof of Star Trek Picard Season 2. The part where they're on Earth, and because we're cheap, and we would just say, okay, they're on an Earth-like planet, and they're like doing stuff there. Like going on adventures or something. I hadn't figured it out yet. because affording the space effects and stuff is harder. Kitty cat. Kitty cat. Kitty cat, kitty cat, kitty cat, kitty cat, kitty cat. Kitty cat. Oh, kitty cat. Kitty cat. Kitty cat. It's Abra. It's Abra. Scratchy Girl. 2009 kitty. Oh. Although technically born in 2008. 2009 kitty. Morbid Marvel. Oh, yeah, we've had some interesting stories out there before. Yeah. We had an episode. We were the first. We were the first couple of channels that broke through the man who wants to pitch for Star Trek story, and said he couldn't have pitched for Star Trek, and they didn't want to listen to us. So we'll just say that. And that was in 2000. That was 2016, and now I remember the movie that we saw, that I just saw, Uncharted, because that. We'll go back to that. It was Uncharted. Yeah, it's okay. But that's what it was. It was Uncharted. With Mark Wahlberg again. I don't know, Mark Wahlberg just appears in everything. So we have, during the preliminary stuff for Star Trek Beyond, and we're talking about a movie, so it's fine. There was a guy named Mike Gamelt who had done Star Trek Force. Star Trek Elite Force 2. He wrote some of the text for Elite Force 2, basically. That's what he did. He didn't write the whole game, just wrote some of the text for Elite Force 2. And all the Trek trades found out about him vicariously through his website, Star Trek Beyond. And he just coincidentally had named it Star Trek Beyond. Paramount said, no, you can't do that. We're going to make a movie called Star Trek Beyond. And so he changed it to Star Trek Uncharted. Therefore getting the people that make the games of Uncharted games mad at him as well. But anyway, the Trek trades went along with it. The Trek bulletin boards, all this sort of went crazy. Oh my God, the guy pitched for Star Trek. He never did. They never asked him if he actually did. He convinced himself he did. There's been several debates and stories, and people have analyzed the script and looked at it and said, he wasn't even a fan film, it was a script. It was a script that he wrote. Very long script. It's the length of a Transformers MUSH story, actually, if he did it. Maybe you should have wrote for Transformers. He never pitched to Star Trek because in 2016, they put up the rules for an Axanar. There was another fan film that kind of ruined that. They put up rules saying you can't pitch to if you're not known to Paramount. We'll throw it away. If any script is sent unsolicited, we will chuck it in the bin. It's going in the bin. It's gone. So yeah, once that was printed on Trek Core and the other channels, then they realized, oh, this Kal Kat guy was actually right. He was right. This other guy could not have pitched, because this says right here, nobody can pitch. Certainly not him. So yeah, and then Star Trek Beyond came out, and it was fine. And he doubled down and said, I pitched. And then implied that he had something to do with Star Trek Discovery, and that he pitched to the creators and talked to them. And they know he didn't. The conversation that he seemed to have had with the creators and writers, this guy, seemed to be the conversation that he had with one of our sycophants on the web. He wasn't actually in the know, Mike. He was... No. That was one of us. He was humoring you. He didn't pitch. But we liked your script enough that if you ever use your cyborg guy and your cyborg guy and your little green Orion girl, who acts like two of our characters from our story, if you ever use that, we will put your name in the credits, so you will actually be in a Star Trek fan film for real. So, cool. So, Starship Locations 2020 and 2021 comes out. Current season, and now it's season 2. And and there he is in the credits, Mike Gamelt. It's based on here's the inspiration by several other people, and he's listed in there too. So yeah, he didn't get entirely kicked out of the whole thing. He is actually in Star Trek. Well, he's got a mention in a Star Trek fan film. He didn't have that when he started. That's all because of these two characters, and also that guy that he talked to went on to do Star Trek, but didn't hire him. Yeah. And yeah, so we have Rutherford and Tendy. Well, LaForge, modified LaForge, and modified modified Janeway, zombie Janeway. Mark Skarsgård, zombie Janeway. And it's the Orion girl from the Gemelt story, and the transhuman, the Borgified transhuman from the Gemelt story. So they thought those two characters were cool and included them. And so did Mike McMahon, another Mike, who is the showrunner of Star Trek Lower Decks. Not Gemelt, Mike McMahon. Another guy, another Mike. Yeah, we don't know him, but I think we might have met him a couple times back in the day, because he's right on the same wavelength. He's right there on the same wavelength. The guy you talked to was probably his protege. Lower Decks is basically, what he would have done. A little bit of Discovery, but only little bits of it. That was Ennis Ambada. I'm butchering that name. Ennis Ambada. Thought of as a Dune-like Steam game called Tardigrades. And Paramount stole his idea. What the irony there is, 2 years earlier, or a year and a half earlier, Paramount sued Axanar for making money on the Star Trek properties. And they keep advertising that there's going to be new Axanar. There isn't. It's all done. The Axanar dude is on the Capina show now. The other Axanar dude that left, and he's all no. There's not. There's no more. They're not doing it anymore. They can't get anybody. So. Anyway, late May 2009 is when we got the kitties, but they were 11 months old. So July of 2008. Yeah. Houdini's the other cat. He's June of 2014. So, yeah, middle of June 2014. 3 weeks old, middle of June 2014. Would have been like early June 2014. Yeah, so anyway, so we have the kitty, and this is the box. Spaceship. It was interesting as I was watching, what was it, one of them, well, I did sign up for the contest for Theo's Awesome Reviews Road Rage toy. I don't think I got it, though. I don't think I won it. But I can get it from Target. If I really want it. Road Rage is one of the first vestiges of the female Autobot Rakshi. But yeah, it's from the Transformers. Yeah, Windblade is not the first of the fan-made Transformers. It's Rakshi and Night Racer. Not Moonracer, Night Racer. Moonracer was earlier. Night Racer was BotCon exclusive '94, but it was earlier than that. It was established. It was sort of a Night Bumblebee thing. What was cool is the Michael Bay movies kind of made one when they made Stealth Black Bumblebee. It's basically Night Racer, so I used her in the movie. And also in Transformers Prime, they made her blue like she was. There was a blue Stealth Bumblebee at one point. Blue there too. But actually it goes back earlier than that, because if you look at Transformers Robots in Disguise 2000, the car robot formers. That one was she was in that too, as the red car thing. That Sideburn was after. Sideburn turned into a red car. Sideburn was basically that kind of character. So yeah, so they did it before. Way back in 2000. And if you wanted to make some continuity, you could say Air Razor is actually just an update of one of them. Of the Night Racer character. If you wanted to. Say it's Air Razor. So yeah, when she merged with Tigertron, she became the other guy. They discussed the different Transformers genders and stuff. It was also discussed on not just Rodimus Primal, but on another one too, the basics of female Transformers and how they made. That's what it was. The Basics channel did a thing during Valentine's Day on the Transformers mating rituals, and added some elements from the from the all Transformers MUSH in there. So watch that. So put some of that in there. Some of that is in there from our stuff. It's not IDW, it's from us. IDW got it from the all Transformers MUSH, basically. And they just... Most of that stuff that they put in there is from... Most of Windblade's personality is actually just Fraction. So they've already kind of done that. So Windblade is just one of a number of characters. They technically Transformers wouldn't have gender at all, which was Draconis' point in the finale. They wouldn't really, but they just immolate people. He wasn't saying they were genderless. He was saying they're immolating people. Yeah, he wasn't being transphobic because he is a Transformer. They can't be transphobic. They're all Transformers. But yes, they can't be. So, so isn't that interesting? Transphobic. Anyway, so they either reproduce by using a spark from somewhere else and just uploading it, or they do some form of budding or building another version of themselves. The Dinobots were constructed, so that was building some of them. I was building another one. The spark thing was similar to the Combaticons and how their personalities were uploaded. And that's probably what happened to the Constructicons, because they were Cybertron, but then they were on Earth, said it had been rebuilt by Megatron. Built by Megatron in the caves, but then they had a later episode that established they were there earlier. So they pre-Constructicons were there earlier. I'm thinking they were on the Ark with them. So yeah. There was also some excellent fan short story things about Road Rage and the others, in which some of the fan guys out there did some stop motion thing, doing a thing like that. So go look up the Diaclone alternate stuff that went out, stuff like that. Road Rage was a Diaclone alternate, sort of like the Red Mirage, which my nephew decades ago, David, had alluded to in the Mirage and the brother fighting each other. That scene is that the Diaclone version of him died. Yeah. So yeah. So the character in the Mirage character does his thing, he dies. Yeah. But yeah, the trans tech thing with the cars, going to that part with the little guys in their cars, and the idea that their drivers, they have drivers in the Hot Wheels cars, just didn't work right. Didn't have any G.I. Joe vehicles back then. Only have a few now. Only enough, not enough to do anything with. Somewhere in a box is an actual Sky Striker and an actual Conquest X30. They're staying in the box. I'm not opening them. I do actually have, but yeah. But yes. And the Sky Striker is very similar to the Veritech, and to scale the G.I. Joe, it's way bigger. Veritech. Robotech thing, and the Skyfire thing and the trans thing was backward. That Takara Tomy and Bandai, it wasn't that they had the other version of Skyfire and just couldn't use it. It was that it was the other way around. It was that they didn't have it. They didn't have the accurate TV version of Jetfire. They couldn't build it. So to be on the cheap, they said, well, can Bandai, you're doing these Robotech things, can we just use a Veritech mold as Jetfire and just do that? And they said, well, you can only do it in a certain way because it's Robotech in the other series. So that's what they did, and that started the whole thing. So it's the other way around. But eventually, in Transformers Siege toy line, and the new one, many fans have made versions of Jetfire. I even built the Cardo one once. And so Jetfire they finally did one that looked the Generation Combiner War, the Combiner Wars era Jetfire, and it looks like the Jetfire from the show. They finally did it. So they did versions of it a couple times. Also, it's interesting that there was another site. Shadow or something like that. Transformer website does the does the plastic thing. What's the guy? Yeah, he looks like a sort of a. Looks like he was one of the Pine Hill people from the school years ago, but he isn't. He's the son of a Pine Hill person. Son of, yeah. And he was like nobody we know, but he looks a little bit like a couple of people. And he did a review of the Transformers designs that were never used, and 2 or 3 of them were Kal Kat designs that he showed, including that weird yellow 6-shot, weird action base thing with the long ramps was basically, and the other one, the other chunky robot with a Robotech looking thing that looked like a flying jet carrier thing was basically high tech from Carta, and so was the city. The city was a shitty ship from Carta. Yeah, so that's cool. Nor he doesn't know that that's actually not Transformers. That's actually our stuff. Well, it could also be a fan one that's very, very close. We'll say that too. It could be a fan one that's very, very close. Like minds think alike. So it could be, you could say, if somebody posts and says, no, that was more artwork, or it's like, yeah, but we thought of the same thing at the same time. Yeah. At the same time. So yeah. Hi, kitty. We have Houdini. Hi, baby kitty. You're a meow meow boy. Where are you? So, Frank or whatever his name is. Anyway, so we have yeah, he's over on the Capita show. He's on a different show. So, the stories moved to somewhere in San Jose, and they're infrequently around. We'll see whether we can get a hold of Ryan Sturdy being that Starcrockers thing too. That would be great. But I'm not making any promises. We're gonna finish up Strange Worlds here, the Fallen Ones, and over on the other channel, the Star Trek channel. It was fun to be on the set of that here and see that in this really cool looking Star Trek. Halfway into Starcrackers bridge / ship / thing. We needed a bigger thing than just the runabout room, so bigger thing. See, yeah. So those guys. So characters is used. Yeah, the script and screenplay and stuff. Other people had read it. Some Voyager writers read that script. Yeah, it was never a fan film. He kept saying it was a fan film when he pitched Star Trek. This fella and this guy in his 40s. He was my age. He's not like he was a kid. Yeah. So yeah, it's like, you know, yeah. So it's not like it. Yeah. Anyway, so what really happened was that Paramount gave him a cease and desist and said, "We want this domain name. We're Paramount. You need to hand it over." That's what happened. And he said, "Okay," and he did. That's all. And then he blew it up into this big sensation. Well, I figure great PR. Even if it's completely, But yeah, it's fun to talk about the Star Trek thing too as well. The Transformers MUSH, and it's cool that we got to that they get to include 2 of his characters because they're also the characters from Lower Decks. So we could just say it's Lower Decks guys. They're also them, but the Lower Decks guy clearly met Sandy, who was the inspiration for Tandy, and and took notes, so he could get it right. He did get it right. Oh yeah. So yeah, we also have Shadow Dancer. But yes, yeah. The other lady was Ivy Bonleen. Ivy Bonleen and the other one from Transformers, all Transformers MUSH. The other one was. Yeah, I can't think of the second one, the Transitions one. Yeah. Oh, Bobby Carruthers. That's right. Bobby Carruthers also. And she's got a different last name now. And she also commented on saying, that show. The creative way of doing that whole thing, the Springer thing and all that. Yeah, it was fun. So, I suppose if you really want a Draconus Prime toy, that's not a knockoff, believe it or not. Go look up the Year of the Dragon Optimus Prime from Dark of the Moon. It's just a Year of the Dragon Optimus Prime. Yeah, I think you can still find it on eBay and YouTube and Facebook. Not Facebook. eBay still has them. You can find them. It's really hard to transform into a ship though. Back again. The trailer part. As MGO, the freaking geek comment, MGO316 comment. MGO's channel was a send up back in the day for transforming various Transformers we needed to transform, including Devastator. We could not figure out how to put Devastator back together. And he had a long, extensive video, MGO did, saying how to transform that Devastator from Combiner Wars and put it back into Combine mode. So, anyway, yeah. He also was on the Mush, and he mentioned, and when he had his, 300,000 subscribers, we're nowhere near that. We'd like to have more subscribers. Yeah, that'd be cool. He did the Dinobot Daihatsu, Dino Riger Daihatsu crossover King Grimlock story, which was in the UK comics and in the IDW ones as well in a way. But it was an all Transformers MUSH story. And he did a version of, we did a version of that story, he did a version of that story. The King Grimlock. Our version had somebody slightly different though. We had the tank Devastator guy, Brawn guy from playing the Grimlock in that one. Because at that point, the smaller Grimlock was the only one out there. And I knew, and I had connections, a few wandering around, that I heard it over the grapevine that there was going to be a larger Grimlock and a larger Slag, and they're going to do all of them. And yeah, they have come out with 2 of them, and that's awesome. So, cool. And hopefully they come out with I think Sludge is next, and then Snarl. So. They're also doing a couple of spikes. Yeah, so... And you can't find... And that little pterodactyl guy we had, the transmetal pterodactyl playing the bartender. He broke. We can't find him. No, we can't find a replacement. Oh, oh no, broken. Yeah, none of the early Beast Wars... They fell apart. They're still in the box, but they fell apart. We'll start it with a pack of Autobots. Oops. Actually, looking back on that creation thing that started the whole thing, the story, the pact. Yeah. David was in a lot of that, actually. They look back at that, it's like, no, wait a minute, he's in a lot of the outtakes, actually, on that. So was a dog, Nasheed. Dog. That dog was kind of crazy. That dog liked to try to jump the fence. It broke its leg at one point, trying to jump the fence. There was like a gate. It used to be in the backyard. There was like a little gate. It climbed up the gate and got stuck. Years ago, when I was a kid. It stuck in the gate. I don't know how it managed to get its legs stuck in the gate. That's, oh god. There was a metal gate. Stuck. It's messed up. Yeah, I don't know what happened to it. It died before Yogurt did. Yogurt was the old dog and it lived to be ancient. Yeah, it's briefly seen in there. Yeah, there was a cat too. Back there. Yes, the cat on the lawn, the neighbor cat on the lawn. What was that in the opening scene? Was that it was a white cat. Not sure what cat that was. It's probably the other original pumpkin, would be my guess. Yeah, so there's other stuff out there that's unwatchable. Planet Comet is unwatchable. The original version of that is literally unwatchable. So watch the 2007. We'll put that one up, because that one you can actually understand. it's actually done as kind of an homage joke thing. What's funny about that is on that one, my brother Robert was a consultant on making that one because he was around for a couple of days, and he overheard that one and commented that I had David's voice down really, really well. That one, he almost thought it was David in the room somehow. So Silly Kelly over there is basically supposed to be David. In case you didn't get, it's supposed to be. But yeah, the Cowpoke. Cowpoke's supposed to be Sean McKnight from the 80s. That's what he's supposed to be. And we did find Sean McKnight, like we found Jason Cranston, who was also Kelly. But Sean McKnight didn't want to talk. He'd moved to New York. He's all back on the MySpace days. He's he's acting kind of drunk, and then he disappeared. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was just mad that day. I don't know. But nothing happened with him. Cranston returned. He was in he appeared in the Pleasanton area in the 2000s. Angie returned in the 2000s as well. Still around on the Facebook. So yeah, but we don't know what happened to Jim Buffkin and Jim Chacon, the guy that was mentioned. We can't find him. The pandemic swept him up. We don't know what happened to him. Yeah, so we don't find him. Put him in a story. Because he was in some of those hilarious other episodes that we did, storybook episodes. Although his presence is felt in the character of Morton Roadkill, who basically has a voice that's similar and acts similar to him. Yes, little guys here on the set. I know that the Lower Decks guy definitely knows of us because this guy is from Space Time Eye. And it's a very obscure short story collection, Kal Kat, Adam Brown. And in order for him to have known it, he had to have read it. Brad Boimler. Boimler is a character on that. Named loosely after Volmer, who was a villain from the 5th grade. So it just changed a few names around Boimler. Except in this one, he's kind of a hero, though. He's kind of an anti-hero sort of guy. Gets into trouble. He acts like Silly Kelly. Brad Boimler, Carrie. And of course, there's Carrie from Voyager, who is basically Carrie from Starcrackers. They literally must have watched Starcrackers. Let's just use that name. Yeah, cool. They weren't thinking Jim Carrey because they spelled it differently. Jim Carrey. They spelled it the way Starcrackers spelled it. Now, here's... Kitty. Kitty. Where the other kitty go? Yeah, kitty. Yeah, I don't think we need to ramble on this one too much longer. Imagine. Probably not. Oh, yeah, it probably doesn't need to ramble on too much longer than an hour. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, so, although this technically is the 1000th video of the Reviews channel, we'll do other things in honor of the 1000th view channel. Other things, yeah, so stay tuned for other things. And Mark's Cards was not available because of he's quarantined himself again. Yeah, okay. So, I'm going to continue here on the set, though, and complete the Star Trek thing in a month. And that'll be in time for the toy show, and we'll see if we go to that. The rest is up in the air. So we'll see. Oh, I'm sure there will be 1,000 more. So yeah, there's although there's not a lot of subscribers, probably because of the apocalypse, but there are ways around the apocalypse. I'm not going to say what they are, but go look them up. Totally, there are ways around the apocalypse. I'm not going to say what they are because in YouTube will demonetize. So Well, I don't have monetization, but they will figure out a way to flag the video. I'm not gonna say. You can find them. You block the ads. There are ways. There are ways. Just say. Yeah. Yeah, and those guys on one channel thinking they know the secret stuff from the other thing. They didn't. And they were saying, no, but we totally guessed the Campina show. They were saying, though, we totally guessed Tobey Maguire was going to be the Spider-Man thing. Like, no, they didn't. They were just thinking of Into the Spider-Verse. They had no idea. They think they did. They didn't. Because he was in Into the Spider-Verse. We didn't know what No Way Home was going to be about a year ago. Yeah, so, yeah, they're making that up. That's fine, I guess. I think Red Letter Media should do another Nerd Crew thing. That's fun. They have mentioned our little Star Trek fan film on there a couple of times. Yeah, they mentioned us. They said the effect of certain fans of Star Trek out there have made us action figures and put us on and put us on their channel. It was pretty funny. There's a pretty damn good Rich Evans too. It's Mr. Plinkett. It's not him, obviously. No, it's not. No, we're not in Milwaukee. Oh, dang it! And somebody else at the church kind of got offended. We thought we was imitating her voice. So no, it's Rich Evans from Red Letter Media. It's Mr. Plinkett. Oh, it's Mr. Plinkett. Go watch it. He sounds exactly like that. It's Mr. Plinkett. He's all like, dang it, Star Wars sucked. Those prequels are crap. Yeah, that guy. It's Mr. Plinkett. It's funny that he's a Talaxian. That the other one's a Data, a lore figure. That kind of makes sense, actually. It kind of does. It's synergy. It rhymes. It's poetry. It rhymes. It subverts expectations that they're still around. And also we have Koloth and Cyrano from the alternate universe. They're there because David Gerald, who we met at a convention, one of the conventions, handed me I had to buy it. He handed me the script, the 2016 script, Planet Escape from the Planet of the Tribbles, unofficial sequel to Star Trek's Trouble Tribbles, and said, cool. I was like, can I do this as a fan film eventually? He said, okay. So we did. The Tribble Planet story. Yeah. It's loosely based on that. Well, a lot of it's based on it. The whole series is kind of based on it. It's got it in the DNA. He's one of the people that's indirectly mentioned inspiration for the story. So he's mentioned the inspiration for the story. So he's one of them. This David Gerald, the actual Star Trek David Gerald from Trouble Tribbles. He wasn't the connection. He was a connection at the time. But no, we didn't consult or chat after that at all. No, it was just that. That's it. You do your thing, your fan film. That's fine. Because he probably figured, he's not going to do a fan film. He did. We did a fan film. Yes. So, yeah. Starship Locations. Strange Worlds. Not Strange New Worlds. We get in trouble with Paramount. Strange Worlds. Yeah. And they'll get home from where they are. So. And yeah, I wanted to do the 1K episode here because then Discovery will see episode 9 would be the 1K episode. And I don't want to do that. I wanted 1K episode to be special. So shooting the shit about Transformers and Star Trek and the Kamel saga, and I could mention numerous other sagas, but why? I will say of the Channel Awesome story though years ago that I did meet them at the 2017 at Fanime. Hopefully they'll come back. I have asked them to come back to Fanime when they do it again. They haven't answered. We'll see. That'd be awesome. And also they have since apologized. They had a podcast, live podcast, where Walker discussed it and said essentially we got too big for our britches, and he got too big for his britches, and channel got too out of control, and just things. It's a way of saying I apologize, kind of. Yeah, so it's enough. Yeah, it's enough. Yeah, because he didn't want. I guess there's a cease and desist NDA on that particular drama that we're not involved in anyway. Here on the West Coast, nothing to do with them. Although coincidentally, they keep doing movies we suggest. Maybe it just comes out with a good idea at the time. The most recent ones we suggested was one we suggested quite a long time ago. Polar Express. They did that for like the Christmas holiday season. He's all, oh my God, why haven't I done this movie? Oh, it's a train wreck. Look, I told you. It is a train wreck. It's a mess. It's like, oh, Zemeckis, what were you thinking? Ah. The CGI people and everything. There was a guy from Dexter's Lab in it, and he's like clearly like 60 years old, and he's trying to do a little boy voice, and it sounds like a troll or something. He's like, what are we gonna do now? It's like, oh my God, what the hell's wrong with him? And then the little black girl is a zombie, and she's like, not intentionally, it's just that the way they drew her. And the kid's imagination is Tom Hanks. All of them are Tom Hanks, except the guy on the roof. It wasn't. Oh, the guy on the top of the train. Somehow in all these train movies, and even the classic ones, somebody can sit on top of a moving train car and not fall off. Which they kind of spoofed in that one James Bond episode, where he's standing on the caboose and it goes whoosh, away from the train, and he's still not able to hang on just by his shoes. Not fall off immediately, like gravity has no meaning. Kind of like in the Uncharted movie, which had nothing to do with Mike Mel. Yes, he didn't write Uncharted as a game. It is interesting though that they that movie apparently the Angry Joe show analyzed it because they had played the game, and they're like, okay, this part is from the part in the beginning is kind of from the fourth one. And the part in the with the painting and all that, and halfway through there's a scene from the first one where they're in Rome running around on roofs and stuff, and then at the end the plane thing, the plane thing is sort of like part 3 but sort of part 4. So yeah, they made a mess of it. They just put everything together, and the pirate ships flying through the air, that's not part of it. They just added that. Yeah. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in there. I mean, it could be the 2 pirate ship battle scene in part 2, but they just put it in the air. It could be that's where that is. Yeah. Kind of, sort of, a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Ancient aliens. I've never done any reviews of Ancient Aliens because I figured why. I did the Planet of the Fallen ones. That was enough. Well, a version of a blog. I mean, Colavito actually wrote the blog, and it's people commented at the bottom. The comments are in there, but not his article. Just the comment. A lot of comments. A lot of stuff about other fringe people, let's say, out there. Don't really know any. Maybe indirectly though, but they don't have channels. I know of other fringe people. They just don't have channels. I don't know why they don't. Some of the SAP people, Sap One Productions. Not to be confused with the other Sap Productions, but rather they were kind of copying it. Yeah, some of them are fringe, but they don't have channels, and it's weird that they don't, because you think that some of them would, just to have a spin-off, just to say, oh, we need to have as many videos as Kal Kat, and we need to have a thousand videos. Yeah, there's no way they're gonna have. They need to work at that one. So yeah. So Mark's Cards will be back at some point to discuss the 1000th video. Yeah. Hopefully it won't be a full year later like last time. No, he came back for a while. June to September, I think it was. But then they disappeared again. Something like that. Up to November, I think. We actually got up to November. Well, then the third surge or fourth surge happened or whatever. No. Yeah. Anyways, so I guess that's it for now. But there'll be more. We just haven't nailed anything down, and we don't want to have any. We don't want to do like the internet troll shows and have them say, "Oh, we totally know secret information. We're totally going to release now." I was doing that. I was kind of doing that before with the locations and stuff, with the Starship Locations game years ago, but only because I thought things were going to happen each week and they didn't. So that wasn't necessarily trolling. I just thought that like discussions I would have with people were leading to something, when none of those discussions led anywhere. It wasn't until Mark's Cards returned and okayed the release of the game, the books, by July, that there was going to be anything. Yeah, he came back and said, "Oh, let's do that. You can do that." Okay, let's do the Fallen Ones planet. It's easier. We agreed on doing the planet one, the Fallen Planet one. It'd be easier to just like, it's a blog, set it up, film it. Yeah, not as ambitious as the other ones, but certainly interesting. I found the other one, the one we just did, was very interesting. The one about the prize hunter guy, Grave Robbers from Space is what it was called. This is the sequel to the Sword Fakery. The sequel to that. Well, the whole thing is all connected. Based on the Jason Colavito blog. And he gets a name in the credits. Just as Jason Colavito blog. It's not written by him, it's just inspired by him. Right. Cat knocked over part of the set. Yeah. Hi, kitty. Don't knock over the rest of the set. Come here. Kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty. Okay, so yeah, that's enough of that. Kitty, kitty. It's Abra. It's Kadabra. The babies. This is kind of where they were back in the 2009 on Halloween, when introduced on the Kal Kat show. Which I told that really, really cheesy pun about, like, so like, I'm going to introduce you to these gothic girls. Yeah, the gothic girls. Yeah. And then it was cats. Yeah. They are gothic girls. They're cute. Houdini's probably up here somewhere, too. So. Anyway, so yeah, that's it.